All right, we're going to make a healthy breakfast, low in carbs. Let's start. So I'm going to cut a avocado here. Avocados are mostly fat, so easy way to cut it. Twist, compost that. They are mostly monounsaturated fat, so about 70%. 15% is the great polyunsaturated fat, PUFA, and then 15% is saturated fat. So they're not the cure-all, but they're pretty good. You can slice them up beforehand. There you go. And I'll do a similar with that one. One avocado is 234 calories. So it's a lot of calories, but not that bad for breakfast and low in carbs mainly. Next, we're going to make some hard-boiled eggs. So I have a rolling boil going here. And what I'm going to do is add a little white vinegar, just a splash, maybe a tablespoon. That might have been a little bit more, but that's okay. Bring it back to a rolling boil and then put the eggs in for exactly 8 minutes. Then we're going to take them out and put them in a cold bath, ice water bath. And then the shells will quickly come off. I tend to make a few at a time. There we go. And eggs are a little worse than avocado in that they're about 40% saturated fat, about half monounsaturated fat, and again about 15% polyunsaturated fat, but they only have 80 calories, so not as bad. You can have a few of them. Again, very low in carb. Have some fat, and the avocado also has some fiber. For my salt, I use half basically potassium chloride, so no salt, and half iodized sodium chloride. Most people can't tell the difference between those two, and so in a Western diet we get way too much sodium, and so this is an easy way to increase your potassium instead of eating a ton of potatoes, which are high in potassium. So half and half. And the iodized salt is better than sea salt if you're mixing it into things, in that there is a high incidence of a deficiency of iodine. But sea salt is good if you're using it on top of food, not mixed in, because then there's larger salt crystals and they dissolve slowly on your taste, and so you actually end up using less salt. So if you're mixing something in a stew, then you'd use ideally either potassium chloride or half potassium and half iodized salt. But if you are, for example, sprinkling on eggs, you could use sea salt because the taste actually is slower than very fine salt, but I use half and half to get my potassium up. So it's been 8 minutes. My eggs are done. They were boiling in a dash of vinegar. The vinegar, and here's my ice bath. The vinegar partially dissolves the shell and just makes it easier to peel them. And adding it to the ice bath directly also pulls that away from the shell. So pretty easy to peel if you follow this process. And leave them in the ice bath as long as you want. If you're having them the next day, then it doesn't matter. You can leave them in for a while, and if you want them a little warm, then you have to time it a little better, maybe a minute, So I've only had the eggs in the ice bath for about 15 seconds, as long as it took me to set the camera up for the next shot. And so here you see they peel pretty easy right away, and the other ones will be a little bit easier in 10 more seconds, but there you go. That took 3 seconds to peel. Done. So there you go. 2 eggs, 1 avocado. That's 400 calories. Pretty filling meal. Honestly, you could throw in an extra egg, it'd be just under 500 calories. I'd probably normally do 1 egg. I'm finishing an intermittent fast, so I'm having a larger breakfast to set my circadian clock in the morning. Hope you enjoyed. Oh, and I almost forgot, I'd sprinkle on my half sodium and half potassium salt.